Hello again. It's me heading to work again. 7 nights a week. I had New Year's Day and Christmas Day off. Christmas Eve. Yeah. So I had a cute little story. A little adventure I had about, 15 years ago. Maybe 20 years ago. I tried to clean my windshield off. The lights seem brighter than they really are, like headlights in this, and street lights. They don't glow like they do in the camera. They look normal. Just so you know. I think you knew that anyway. Well, this little story, nothing paranormal here that I know of. I was actually going to go to my friend's birthday party. It must have been 20 years ago, I'd say. God, more than that. I was walking. No. At any rate, it was around this area. And so I was driving there, and I had a 12-pack of beer. I was going to celebrate with him his birthday. It was summertime. And about halfway there, let's say, the whole distance was about 15, 16 miles to drive. My car completely broke down. I mean, grenaded out. The motor blew. It was an old car. I didn't like the car. It didn't bother me greatly. Because back then I could walk 30 miles and think nothing of it anyway in good weather. So I started walking. I had about 7 miles to walk. And the sun was starting to set. So I knew about where he lived. I thought I would take a shortcut and cut through a very large field. I mean, large field. I don't know how many acres. Maybe 20, 25 acres, maybe more. I got about halfway across the field, taking a shortcut, and 3 or 4 wild dogs came after me. I'd say at least 4, actually. A small pack of wild dogs. They come running after me with a purpose from a distance. And I knew I had a bit of a jam. I could take care of 1 dog, maybe 2, but there were more than that. And I was out in the middle of nowhere. And so I made for the woods. I had to get out of the field, that's for sure. Didn't have any defense there. So I made for the woods, and they were getting closer, and I went into the woods. And actually the woods turned into a swamp, and they followed me, and they were getting right up on me. So I went into a swamp, and the sun had set by this time. It was getting dark. And they didn't follow me into the swamp very far. And by swamp, I mean, it was mucky, wet. It wasn't like something you'd see down south, where it's waist deep water. But it was really thick, real thick brush, weeds, muck, water, hard going, and it was dark. And the dogs followed me in there a little ways, enough to get me to where I really went crashing through to get away from them. And by the time the dogs stopped following me, and they did, it was dark, and I'm in the middle of this swamp, and brush, I don't know, thicket, I don't know what we call it, but it was pretty big. And I wasn't really worried for my life or anything, but I was kind of concerned about getting out of there. And it was dark. And I mean, very thick underbrush, really hard going. So I really didn't know where I was. I'm just plowing through this stuff. And this isn't much of a story, but yeah, I probably said a few prayers. I always do. And I plowed through this stuff, and I didn't see any lights. It was that thick. There weren't very many houses in the area to begin with. And I come crashing through this brush and into the opening, and I was right in his backyard. And he and his wife were out back having a beer and grilling some food. And you should have seen the look on their faces when I come in the nighttime. I come crashing through this brush right into their backyard. Hello, happy birthday. I'm sure they remember that. One of them has passed on, but I know the other guy, I know he remembers that. That really made his day. And I have my beer. It was in a book bag on my back. And hey, how you doing? And then some other people showed up, and there was music and dancing and a fire, and it turned out to be a good night. And he was telling everybody about how I just came out of nowhere through the dark, crashing through the brush, and right into his backyard. Imagine that, huh? You think God had a hand in that? I don't know. I always pray. I don't recall, but I'm pretty sure I probably said some prayers while I was in there. It was dark out. I mean, I wasn't afraid that I was going to get lost, you know, but I was afraid I might be stuck out there for a while. That's it. I just wanted to share this little story. I can't really do a whole lot while I'm working 7 nights a week. And I'm starting to feel a little silly about the candles and me walking in like I do. I mean, that's getting a little old, I think. Or I'm getting old. I just feel silly doing it anymore. I do it, I personally enjoy it. Just like I like making a beer review now and then. It's just something I like to do. Make the candles, and I swear I've never embellished on any of my stories. Never. And so even though I like to lay it on with some frivolies like the candles and lights and things, sometimes I'll dress up a bit, like for the beer reviews or the accordion music. I don't dress up my stories. That I tell that like it is. That's all. I've got some things I want to talk about, and they may have to come out like this because about all I can manage right now. All right, that's all.